I wanted to also touch on the body this meeting, because every month we're going to have incredible speakers, so I want everybody back here every single month. But one of my very favorite people in the world, Mia over here, Mia Magistro, is a complete pro when it comes to everything through the body, whether it's detoxification, cleansing, topically, internally. She has a whole body health and wellness company right here in Orem. So she is local and she's able to help anybody with internal cleansing, but she's super versed in Youngevity products, and she's been with Youngevity about 8 years and doing her own company for about 12. So totally a detox guru, as I call her. But the first time I heard you speak was about 5 years ago, I think, on liver cleansing. Blew my mind. So I'm so excited to have Mia with us, and we're going to set up a screen for her, and her products are right here, and she's going to go over some great things for the home, or for your body, as we've just finished with Jeanette for the home and the environment. So Mia, come on up.
I remember one day we got just a young mother, 33 years old, came in. She could barely walk down the stairs, and she was told that eventually she was going to be wheelchair bound for the rest of her life. She had 3 young kids, and my heart went out to her. And not only was she coming to us for answers, but she had actually been referred by a medical doctor, which was kind of interesting. Like he had exhausted all of his abilities to help this young mother. She had been on methotrexate for 10 years, which is a chemo drug that she was on for arthritis, and it was just a crippling arthritis. And so when she came in, I just thought, oh, that is so sad that this doctor had referred her to me to get a cleanse. Like, and I knew like what we had to offer wasn't going to be enough for her. I knew like having her do some colonics and going through a liver cleanse was not the answer to help the body heal from crippling arthritis. So that was challenging. So one of my favorite doctors, Dr. Google, I started researching myself, and I came across this man in a flag button-up shirt with a big cowboy hat on, called the Mineral Doctor. You know, the Mineral Man. And those of you who know, that's, Dr. Wallach is known as the Mineral Doctor as well. And I just thought it was fascinating. This was the first time that I had come across his research. And so for me, I'm like, why doesn't everyone know about this? Like, this is crazy. It makes so much sense that, if you give your body what it was, what it requires to build, then it has the ability to heal itself. And so I did a lot more research, and I found that they had a facility or a place here in Orem at the time that I could get my hands on these minerals. And I was doing this research, when this client came in early on, and so I was pretty excited just to see if these might be something that could help her, because this poor girl had tried everything medically, and she had also been on other supplements. And over the years, I've always considered myself kind of a supplement junkie, where I just hoard supplements, right? Because nothing works, and so you put it over to the side and you think, oh, maybe I'll come back to that one. Or, I had bottles of so many different brands. And so Dr. Wallach, his information just made sense to me. It's like if you give the body everything it's missing from the soils in a form that it recognizes, like it can go to work and it can rebuild. So I told this client about, what I'd come across, and I said, it's worth a try. If you haven't tried, this would be worth just giving it a shot. So she got on the formulas, and no joke, within 2 months, she ran her first mile. She hadn't been able to run in over 10 years, and she ran her first mile, and it was just all uphill from there. And so for me, and I just get chills thinking about it, because, seeing a person's quality of life increase at a young age, I appreciated just how much that meant to me at a young age, suffering needlessly, I thought I had a good another 30 years before I had to deal with 90% of the symptoms that I dealt with. And so seeing this young mother, her quality of life increase was just, it was awesome. And I really didn't look back, It's not like the best product line for somebody in a retail setting to carry. And so that holds a lot of weight in terms of how effective it's been for me. Like, I really haven't veered from that line because we've been able to get results. And one of our best sellers is the Tangy Tangerine. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is one that it's just that flagship foundational product that if you can get somebody on that and getting them to take it consistently, it's motivating enough to where, they'll then maybe add in the OsteoFX or the essential fats. But I think education is key, and once people understand more and more what these things can do for their bodies, what the nutrients can do for their bodies, it's more of a motivator. One of the greatest things with Dr. Wallach is his history in suing the FDA and winning health claims. And people just don't really realize how much he has done for the information that we have, even for medical doctors to be able to say to pregnant women. I think that you talked about, folic acid, and that was Dr. Wallach's lawsuit, his first lawsuit. Like, how amazing is that we have a guy that is so passionate about getting this information out that he literally travels every single day in a different city, lecturing to even a crowd of 5, if that's all that show up. And he has that much passion that he really wants to help change the health of the world, I think. So during this process, after this experience with this girl, this young mother, I started to look at cleansing and nutrition kind of different. Is there such thing as healthy cleansing? Because as I saw these people that were chronic cleansers, and the only time that they felt good was when they were on a juice fast or when they were on a really intense cleanse. And so to me, that just wasn't making sense. I think our bodies were designed not to be on chronic cleanses for eternity. I think that they have an ability, and they were designed to process and to do what they needed to do to rid of the toxicity and absorb nutrients. So I wanted to learn more about that. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about a new approach to cleansing. I want you to think about rebuilding and then cleansing versus cleanse and rebuild. How many of you have heard of that term, cleanse and rebuild? And I want you to look at it as rebuild and then cleanse. And then I want to go over a little bit about the 4 organs of elimination, as well as your 2 internal filter or systems in the body. Cleansing from a nutritional approach, and then Youngevity products that you can incorporate to do this. So, even taking it a step further, rebuilding and then cleansing, you can even look at it as rebuilding while you cleanse. And I'll talk more about that throughout the presentation, but when I think about rebuilding, it's really getting the nutrition that we need to get in daily that we were getting in 100 years ago. When it was in our soil, it was in our food. Nowadays, we can grow food in 3 minerals where our bodies require 60. So we're lacking a lot of nutrients. And if you think about the whole recipe, the 90 essential nutrients, which is 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids, if you're missing even just one of those, your body can develop over 10 diseases just with one of those nutrients missing. So you think about like a cake. If you're missing one important ingredient, like the flour or, butter, it's going to change the entire recipe. And it does with the body as well. And so although there were a lot of products that I had come across over the years that had a lot of good things, I have clients coming in constantly saying, look at these products and look at what's in it. And it has a lot of good stuff, but you also have to consider the source, where they're sourcing the raw materials, how it's being packaged, how it's being produced, and also, even though it has a lot of good stuff, it's still missing a huge amount of nutrients that are essential to the body. So look at it as like water and oxygen. You won't just, you can't just look at, oh, do I need water or do I need oxygen? Like, we need both, and they're essential to the body. One isn't more important than the other. And if someone brought in water and they were like, oh, but look, I'm drinking water, but they aren't breathing, they're still going to die, right? So, even though you have a lot of good stuff, if you're missing stuff, you're still going to develop diseases, and you're still going to develop different ailments that are going to affect the quality of your life and your health. So what are the dangers of juice fasting? I'm a huge proponent of juice fasting, by the way, but anyone have like...
It's pure sugar, for one thing.
What about like green juices?
Well, that's better, except you've removed all the fiber, right?
Yes and no. Like, so Dr. Wallach talks about humans do not contain an enzyme that is there to break down a lot of roughage. So having like a big green smoothie, it contains a lot of cellulose, and we don't contain cellulase to break that down, and so we have to supplement with an enzyme to do that. But when you're juice fasting, you're assuming that that juice has all of the minerals that your body requires, right? We don't know where those vegetables were grown. We don't know what kind of soil that they were grown in. And so really, it's the depletion of the nutrients that are in those fruits and vegetables that you can't count on. And that's why supplementing with the minerals while you're juice fasting is like the perfect recipe. So, but yeah, you're also removing all that stuff. So staying on a juice fast for a long time, you're depleted in so many ways, like with essential fiber and even essential nutrients and protein and different things that the body requires long term. What are the dangers of water fasting? That goes along the same lines. Like, you're also being depleted of certain minerals and especially electrolytes. There's been a big craze over, I don't know, I would even say since I started the business with water fasting and people just increasing the amount of water that they're drinking. I had people that come in, they're like, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, or I'm drinking 6 quarts and I'm still dehydrated. And it's because you can dilute certain electrolytes that your body requires to hydrate you properly, right? Your body requires not only water, but minerals. If you were to go to the emergency room, they would never ever give you an IV of plain water. They would never just give you, liters of plain water to drink. There's a reason why they give you a saline solution and then a dextrose solution, and that's so that your body is hydrated properly. People that cleanse too often without nutrition will feel like they always have to cleanse to feel good, and they'll feel depleted along the way. One story that I can think of, and I wish I had, there's another presentation that I have that has a before and after picture of his healing journey, but he came into us off a 40-day juice fast, and he looked like he was emaciated, skin and bones. He looked like he was going to pass out there in my office. Young guy, he had an ulcer on his leg that was about the size of a grapefruit, and it was an open wound, and it had been an open wound for about 2 years. Boozing, like he had to bandage it up. So for 2 years he was dealing with this open wound that wouldn't heal. Even 40 days on a juice fast and 2 years of a raw diet did not heal that wound. So that was telling me that alone wasn't enough to help his body rebuild and to heal. Once we started him on the nutrition, like his before and afters of his leg are just incredible. And now even the scar, this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and even the scar is starting to diminish. And he's been pretty religious about his nutrition over the years. So that's super exciting to see what the body is capable of. And I think I learned this more from Dr. Wallach than anyone. Just, he would say wherever there's a blood supply, the body has the ability to heal itself. So, we get cuts and we get bruises on the outs of our bodies, and we understand that, they heal. But I don't think our current medical model gives enough credit to our insides and the ability that it has to heal. If you look at the inside of your body, it has a really complex plumbing system in every single organ, where it not only delivers nutrients, but it takes waste away. And if those little tubes, those plumbing tubes get caught or get clogged or get congested, it affects your entire body. It affects the function of that organ. And so cleansing is critical, and rebuilding is, if not, more important. juicing can be an awesome complement to whatever diet you're doing. One of the biggest, I think, confusions I see with people coming in is what diet, what is the best diet? And how many of you have wondered this? Like, I don't even know what to eat. I hear vegan, I hear vegetarian, I hear all raw, I hear fruitarian, I hear, you know, paleo, and I hear ketogenic, and there's just so many different diets. And let me just tell you this, anyone can write a book, anyone can have a theory, and you have to be really careful about following just one theory or one line of thought to an extreme, because you're going to be missing out on a lot of other pieces. Usually the advice I give people is when they come in and they've read a lot of different books and they've heard a lot of different theories, is to think logically and also to listen to their bodies. Living in Utah, it's going to be very different than if you're living in really warm climates. Like, if you were living off the land here, what would that look like? What kind of foods would you eat? There would be different fruits and vegetables in season at different times, and the same thing would be if you were in a really, really warm climate, you would have access to a lot more fresh fruits in season, and so it's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be based upon what your digestive system and the current condition of your digestive system can handle. Some people are very, very sensitive to certain things because their systems are so compromised that they have to spend some time rebuilding, getting a lot more minerals in, digestive enzymes, probiotics, before they can tolerate some foods. And an example of that is, I have a younger brother who had lactose intolerant all growing up. Like, he would be doubled over, he couldn't really eat a lot of dairy without having it affect him. After about 6 months on the nutrition, he was able to tolerate dairy so much better. And so that just, it really isn't the food that's the problem, it's our bodies that are the problem. That's going to be different for every single person. And so I think eating cleaner, not processed foods, is definitely an approach that would be a place to start. Dr. Wallach is very big on adhering to the 10 bad foods, which are wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So he is anti-gluten. Like, don't even come around him if you've had a piece of bread and breathe in his face, because he's going to break out in a rash. So no gluten, no fried foods, oil in a bottle. And the oil in a bottle, that was hard for me because we're super Italian, and I grew up pretty much bathing in olive oil. Like, it's water, you know, in our house. But anytime oil is exposed to oxygen, it oxidizes, and so it actually is rancid before you even take it in. And just along those lines, so before I knew about Dr. Wallach's fish oils and all of his essential fatty acids, I had people like taking spoonfuls of Udo's oil, right? I mean, they were taking loads of Udo's oil and not having the same results that you would expect them to have doing a lot of those essential fats. So what I learned was that in Youngevity, they process their oils in nitrogen chambers, which doesn't allow any oxygen into the capsule, which makes them very, very pure, as if you were eating the olive right off of the branch or the fish right out of the sea. And that's why they're so effective and they worked. I mean, within 2 weeks, I could tell a huge difference from doing like a flax oil or an Udo's oil versus the Youngevity oils. I mean, I felt like I had lotion on my skin, and I was taking about 3 twice a day. And after 2 weeks, I remember standing there with my mom, and I'm like, I just like want to touch my skin because it felt so soft. And it's the oils. I've had other clients experience the same thing. So that's with that one. And I'm not super good, just so you know, because I blame my Italian heritage on that one. And maybe we're more resistant over there. Well done red meat. Meat and nitrates, or nitrates in meats, baked potato skins, carbonated drinks, and that's mostly during a meal. And does anyone know why that is, carbonated drinks during a meal? Does anyone know what it does? Yeah, you require you require a very acidic stomach, and primarily it's to help to fight any incoming pathogens or bacteria, to help break down proteins, and to also absorb different nutrients. And so carbonation will actually neutralize that acid and prevent your body from being able to digest properly. So he is huge on eggs, butter, salt, veggies, fruit, nuts, rice and beans, meat, poultry, fish, and gluten-free grains. And that's a pretty awesome diet. I mean, it beats living on green smoothies all day, which I have people that do. So an approach, during this process, and this is just the beginning. Obviously, there's more intense cleanses that you can do, and if your body is in a right state and being supported properly, you're going to maximize those results. So cutting out those 10 bad foods, taking it to the next level and cutting out all grains for a while. And I dare you, because if you mess with people's grains, man, you start to see emotions come out. Like, they get angry. Cook all vegetables, especially greens, and that's partly because it makes it easier to digest. Or you can supplement with enzymes that contain cellulose to break that down. Stay away from raw roughage that contains cellulose in an enzyme. It's an enzyme we don't produce. So it's not something that, some people process it just fine. If it's coming out the other end the same way it's going in, like, that might be an indicator that it's not being digested properly. So just an FYI. And always make sure water contains, like, you're supplementing with minerals if you're drinking a lot of water. If you know a food is making you sick, don't eat it. That's a new concept, by the way. To cleanse or not to cleanse, that is the question. So let's go through the 4 organs of elimination. You have, ideally during a cleanse, the goal is to get toxicity out of the body, right? It doesn't do a lot of good if you're on a cleanse and you're not eliminating through these eliminative organs, because that's how we're getting it out. It's almost just like having a bunch of garbage in your house and just making a pile and keeping it there and containing it. Eventually it putrefies, and it takes minutes to realize, okay, if I don't take it out, it's going to just continue to get worse. So your main organ of elimination is your colon. Then we have your skin, which is your largest organ of elimination, your lungs, and your kidneys. So I talk about poo all day long, and I love it. And it's a conversation that it's so funny when people come in to see us, because there are people that, like, they can't even say the word. It's just like it's just a taboo subject. They don't talk about it. Some of them are like, my husband doesn't even know I go poo. I knew girls in high school that had never farted, and I'm like, okay, this is sad, because that is your main organ of getting waste out of the body. So it would not be something that you would want to brag about if you've never farted or had a bowel movement. Like, it's just not something, nobody wants to be around when that first time happens. And everyone that knows, like, our family knows that no subject is off limits at our house. Like, we talk about this a lot. And in fact, my nieces that were young enough, when I started the business, we'll be having conversations, and they'll be like, are you guys talking about poo again? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, that's, in Europe and in Italy, my dad grew up there, and they were very big, as, with infants, on making sure that they were going to the bathroom every day, and that their bowels were regular, and that they were consistent, and digestive health was really big. And so growing up, it was pretty common to, like, this is their method of an enema or a colonic, is they would take parsley, dip it in olive oil, and you insert it in the rectum, and within seconds that baby would have the bowel movement. And that was just pretty common. So it wasn't weird talk for me growing up, or even when I started my business, I had to get over that subject like really fast. So your colon is your main organ of elimination, and it's about 5 feet long. So it's pretty long. Your entire digestive tract from your mouth to the other end is over 30 feet. So you have 30 feet of tubing just crammed in your gut. And I know that we would all love to think that we have these perfectly shaped colons just like sitting nicely there and having all the room in the world to move, but over time, when through diet and also lack of nutrients, because it takes nutrients to rebuild the lining and to create new cells, your colon can get misshapen. It can get stretched. It can, have loops. And here are some pictures of x-rays of what a lot of people are carrying around in their gut. You can have a lot of impaction. Areas where, if we go back here you have what's called hostas, these little just like pockets. And a lot of congestion can occur in those pockets. You can have buildup. Even people that are regular can have buildup in their gut. Just kind of goes around, just depending on where congestion or loops or kinks occur. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can comment. Talking about digestive health like this, interesting, I had a lady say that this product is making my irritable bowel worse. And what does that say?
So, what is she taking?
Well, what it means,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is that she probably has never done any natural healing in her life, because any kind of natural healing is going to make you have the runs, is going to cleanse part of that. And that even this product, R90, has a cleansing effect in the beginning.
Yeah.
So cleansing is something that if you don't do that, if you're not used to that, that's part of natural healing. Otherwise, you can take medicine your whole life and just stop it all. And that's what a lot of people do. They just aren't used to it.
Well, and we've seen, I don't know if you guys have heard this from people that have been on the tangy tangerine, but that's a common, I would say, symptom that people have, is it will affect their digestion. So, for example, if you have an unhealthy digestive system or a compromised digestive system, and you take 2 scoops of the tangy tangerine and you put it in 8 ounces of water and you chug it really fast, your body's going to be really mad, because it's so concentrated that it would be like taking a hose and filling up an 8-ounce glass of water, right? Like that's a lot of pressure and a lot of nutrition in a compromised system to have to assimilate and absorb all at once. And so if their systems are reacting like that, you want to really dilute the tangy tangerine and have them sip on it throughout the entire day, which then their bodies have a better chance of actually absorbing and assimilating that nutrition. So that's been something that we've dealt with along the way too. And people they'll want to blame the product before blaming their systems, right? Because they don't know. Yeah.
So it's scary.
Yeah. And it does. It goes through a healing crisis where the body it has to adapt and adjust to a new state of homeostasis, whatever you're introducing to it that's different. So thanks for sharing that. This is a colon that was removed, and it had over 40 pounds of undigested fecal matter. So sometimes even a lot of what's going on, in the gut area, it's waste that is inside your intestinal tract, not necessarily even just fat around, but actual waste. Which a change of diet, nutrition, enzymes, and I'll go through some products, even Cleanse FX is something that can be used as well. Skinny on skin. Your skin is the largest organ of elimination. You shed roughly 30,000 to 50,000 skin cells per day. Your skin makes up 15% of who you are. So I guess if you don't like who you are, change your skin. That's what it's saying. Age spots are rancid oils underneath the skin. This is actually an awesome thing to watch when I have clients that have age spots and we start them on the essential fats and the selenium combined. You'll see those age spots actually fade and sometimes disappear. So, okay, your kidneys. Kidneys get overlooked a lot. And I had to, use a pun on words. Are you kidding me? Don't kid around. Treat your kidneys with kindness. Like your kidneys, they filter about 3 quarts of fluid 60 times a day. It's constantly filtering the fluid within the body. And so the fluids that you take in affect your kidneys. Like they can either be really, really hard on your kidneys. And like I was talking about earlier, every organ has a really complex plumbing system that goes through, you know, little tubes. Have you guys ever been to the body exhibit, or you've heard about that? If you've been through it, it's fascinating because you'll see all of the organs and all of the little tubes that run through. I mean, thousands that run through your organs, trying to nourish your body and filter and take waste out. And so all fluids will affect your kidneys, and some of the best things that you can do are to mineralize your water, because a lot of excess water without your minerals is actually going to dilute and even stress your kidneys out even more. Okay, kidney tidbits. They filter 32 to 48 gallons of blood a day. The kidneys reabsorb and redistribute 99% of the blood volume, and only 0.1% becomes urine. Each kidney weighs roughly 4 to 6 ounces. Everything you eat and drink either positively or negatively affects the kidneys. Kidney stones are oftentimes a calcium deficiency issue. Have those of you that have dealt with other people or even yourselves realized, even when you start taking the nutrition, in the beginning it actually has a dilating effect on your capillaries, and so people that have existing kidney stones might have pain in past kidney stones when they first start the nutrition, because it will dilate the capillaries in the kidneys. And I had a cousin that had chronic kidney stones and kidney infections for years. When she started on the products that first year, she actually went to the hospital with a kidney stone, and I was feeling so bad because I thought, okay, how did you get a kidney stone like a few weeks after you started the products? And Dr. Wallach explained this to me, and since then she has never had a kidney stone or a kidney infection ever since, and that's been about 8 years. So
is she on just the 90 or?
The 90.
Just the 90.
Mm-hmm. Just the 90. And I've heard of other people too, like they'll complain of having more pain in their lower back, which is their bodies trying to rid themselves of debris in the kidneys. It can be. I'm not saying that it always is, but it can be if all of a sudden they start feeling that pain in the lower back. Okay, your lungs. Another one. I love you long time. Can't we all just get along? So the average person breathes roughly 11,000 liters of air a day. More than half a liter of water is lost through breathing each day. That's crazy to think of. Oxygen is the single most important nutrient to the body. And during a cleanse, it's important to focus on deep breathing to help rid our bodies of unwanted waste. I feel like the lungs is one of the most overlooked organs when it comes to cleansing. And if you want to follow somebody that really has some good information on breathing, his name is Wim Hof, Wimhof, and he has a pretty good, I think, extensive course and even YouTube videos on how to properly breathe and how to detox and even get oxygen to organs that you wouldn't normally get oxygen to, like the pituitary gland. You're really oxygenating the brain when you go through long, periods of deep breathing. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through a little bit of these just because of time and go through some of the products. So we talked a little bit about the importance of this stomach. One of the best products that we have is the Ultimate Enzymes, and partly because they contain the hydrochloric acid and the ox bile to support the liver and gallbladder at the same time. Your stomach requires stomach acid to summon enzymes, and so when you are taking an enzyme product without the hydrochloric acid, you're not really guaranteeing or even maximizing what the enzymes can do. Peppermint oil is another good one. Yeah?
Yeah, I was wondering on the enzymes, is it 1.100 pounds, or how do you take,
So,
how do you know you're taking the right amount?
That's a good question. When you are dealing with a lot of digestive challenges, your body requires even up to therapeutic doses, sometimes up to 2 to 5 enzymes per meal. And it seems like a lot for people, but it really is, you want to take an amount until your symptoms aren't there anymore, right? Like that's the goal.
When I started, I don't have a gallbladder. It just dissolved years and years ago. And so I really had to have the enzymes. And the way I could tell, I started with a 2, and then if the food upset me at all, I took 2 more, and then the next meal I took 4. I was up to taking 8 before each meal when I first started, but it was take 'em or die. And so I was taking 8, and then I came down by 1. So I went up by 2 and down by 1. And after the first year, I felt safe enough to start going down. And now, 17 years later, I take an enzyme if I need one, but every time I take calcium in any shape, I have to have at least 2 to 3 enzymes, or I have not consumed 1 drop of that calcium.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you know what? Sometimes you don't know. I mean, it's mostly going by the calcium deficiency. So her question was, how do you know if you aren't absorbing calcium? And it's mostly people that have calcium deficiency symptoms are typically not absorbing calcium. And so adding the enzymes in when you're taking your nutrition is key, because it'll help you absorb it better. So yeah, it's starting off with 1 or 2 and going up from there until your symptoms are gone. And then staying there for a while. Dr. Wallach talks a lot about the 90 days, because it takes 90 days to build new blood. And it also takes 90 days to give your body a good foundation and build up some reserves. And so taking therapeutic doses, which is sometimes 5 to 7 times more the amount than you would normally take, in the beginning is really normal. And you're going to see a difference. Like I have people that'll be like, I can't even tell a difference. I'm like, well, how much are you taking? 1 enzyme a day. Well, that's probably it. That's why. Because you're just not taking enough.
I have a little question.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to take it 15 minutes before you eat a meal, right?
Sometimes even with your first bite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about, like, I generally don't eat food. I like to just have a drink in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So would I take it before the drink, or would I wait until 15 minutes
I
before
would take it
actually
with
eat?
just right when you do the drink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you can take them on an empty stomach. You can take them with food. You can take them after. The biggest benefit is when you're taking them like right before your meal, because obviously it's going to work on digesting that meal. But when you take it on an empty stomach, you're also working on undigested material in the gut. So salt, he talks a lot about the importance of salt. Or go ahead.
I just have a quick question. Well, I've had a lot of GI problems, and if I eat certain things, then it kicks in the reflux. I start to choke, or it gets caught in the esophagus. Is that, and I'm taking enzymes.
So I would stay away from those foods, take therapeutic doses of enzymes for a while before you add in those foods again. And then you add in 1 food at a time, like a food that would normally irritate you in the past. Make sure you're on the enzymes on therapeutic doses for about 90 days before you try to add something in again. Yeah. Salt. Salt is important in the digestion of proteins, especially. Your liver. This is actually a picture of a diseased liver, and you can see all of the stones that are in that liver. You can have upwards of 20,000 stones congested in your liver, which obstructs the function of the liver. One of the most, I think, powerful things that we guide people through is the liver cleanse, and I was super excited when we got a company called True2Life. They have a cleanse called LiverPure, and because there's not enough time, I can email Tracy an outline of how to prepare for this cleanse. I know there's instructions inside, but there are even more beneficial ways of preparing longer term and getting out more stones. Everyone is so different, but you will actually release stones that look like that from the liver and gallbladder. And I've had clients come in that have been told, well, I don't have a gallbladder, and so my doctor tells me I don't have stones. They'll still release stones, because your liver, I mean, if your gallbladder can have stones, every organ can have, congestion and build up in them. So they'll still build. But I will email Tracy where she's at, and then she'll email everyone who, hey Tracy, everyone who put their email on that list today will email you if you're interested in, an outline on how to best prepare for this cleanse. But a product that you can take also in preparation is the Good Herbs liver tincture. So taking the Good Herbs has a lot of great herbal tinctures that you can use to cleanse the different organs. They have the kidney, they have the liver, lymphatic. And so taking those, preparing for the liver cleanse is key. And again, I wish I had more time because I'd go into more details, so I'll kind of run through this and then email Tracy any other information. Here's a gallbladder that's congested with stones. The Maki Plus is one that we've used a lot with small intestine issues. So your small intestine is where nutrients is absorbed, and it's about 27 feet of your, well, roughly anywhere from 22 to 27 of your intestinal tract. And it has trillions of these little hair-like structures, villi, that can be damaged through lack of nutrients and also different foods of sensitivity.
How does that help the small intestine?
The aloe vera. It has
has
different
aloe vera.
herbs and it has aloe vera in it to
Okay.
help to soothe and
Okay.
calm inflammation. One of our favorite probiotics that Youngevity carries is the Nightly Essence. And root beer belly is one that we use. The thing I love about root beer belly is you can take it at any time throughout the day, so you don't have to be sensitive about refrigerating it or taking it at night on an empty stomach. It's a food source, and so you can actually take it anytime throughout the day. Cleanse FX is one that we use for colon health, so people that are having issues from constipation. And again, that's going to be different. It has a dose on the back, but if you're not seeing the elimination or the results, then you up it by 1 capsule each night until you're having regular bowel movements that next day. So don't start off too much, because then
It's a killer.
yeah, you'll be swearing all day the next day. Okay, so just to recap, rebuild and then cleanse. Those of you who are wanting to do some fasting, we guide people through what's called mineral fasting, and we'll do a capful of the plant-derived minerals, a capful of the OsteoFX, and then we do it in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And the lemon juice, the citric acid in the lemon juice helps the body to absorb the calcium and minerals better. And then we do the tangy tangerine in a person's water, and we'll have them do fasting like it's our version of water fasting, but we do mineral fasting instead.
Is that suitable for somebody who's been through stomach abortions? That
Oh yeah, because they can't hold a lot of food or fluid as it is, and so doing concentrated amounts. She was asking if it's suitable for someone who's had like gastric bypass or stomach sickly, and it is, because then you're getting a really high concentrated amount of nutrients. It's not going to really irritate the digestive tract like the tangy tangerine will. So yeah.
What was the mineral fasting recipe?
So you're doing 1 ounce of plant-derived minerals, or 1 capful, and then 1 capful of the Beyond OsteoFX liquid in 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And we just buy those, organic lemon juice from the store, so you don't have to squeeze 2 to 3 out of a lemon every time.
And then do you put in a whole bunch of water, or do you just shoot it back?
Shoot it back.
And
It makes the worst face ever because it's super sour. But then you can chase it down with some water. Everyone is different. If you want to mix it in some water, you can, but you don't have to.
Like, for how long would you do that?
I've had people do it for a day. I've had people do it for 3 days, 6 days. Yep. And we have them incorporate some other juices it just depends on, some people don't want to lose a lot of weight because they don't want to get emaciated during that time. So we have to make sure that everybody is different.
So you'll do this all day? Like you don't eat food, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
How many times is that?
You want to do about a 1 capful per 100 pounds of body weight, but we do it a couple times a day. Sometimes I have people doing it 2 to 4 times a day, just depending on how much, they need to get into their systems.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us with this instructional video. My name is Dr. Luis Arriaza. I am Senior Vice Chair for Youngevity. And what we're going to talk about today in the next few minutes is we're going to talk about how you can get the best, how you can maximize the benefits of the True2Life Liver Detox, which is one of the lines in the Youngevity brand. Now, it is one of the verticals. It is the Liver Detox vertical. Now, before I begin this, I want to make sure that you understand that everything we do is always in conjunction with the 90 for Life. The 90 for Life is our flagship products. The minerals, the vitamins, the amino acids, the essential fatty acids, and the antioxidants is what the body needs every single day to replenish, to regenerate, and to revitalize, and to give us the best opportunity so we can be optimally healthy. But after time, what happens is that our body becomes very, very toxic. And one of the best ways to detoxify the body, one of the most efficient ways, and one of the fastest ways is through the True2Life Liver Detox system. So I want to first let you know that there is no 2-day system. Sometimes my wife Ellie and I, we get calls and people ask us about the 2 days or the 1 day. I've even heard of the 24-hour liver detox system. There is no 24-hour system. There is no 2-day system. There's no 3-day system. The liver detox is a 30-day liver detox system, and I'm going to explain to you how this works. It's very simple, and Youngevity has done such a fabulous job. I mean, you really have to try and not to do this well, because they have designed a calendar. So you can put this on your refrigerator, and all you have to do is go day by day. They even added pictures in Spanish and English. So there's really not any reason for us to do it wrong. And if we do it right, the results are going to be extraordinary, I guarantee you. So let's just say that it is Friday, it is Thursday evening, and you're going to do this Friday. Because my recommendation is for the following day for you to be at home. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why as I go into this. So you wake up Friday morning, because Friday morning is going to be the day that you're going to detoxify your liver and purge the stones from your gallbladder. So in the morning when you wake up, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take an enzyme. These Truzymes are both metabolic and digestive. What does that mean? That means that when you take this and there's substance in your stomach, it's going to serve as a digestive enzyme. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that you don't have to take multiple enzymes. There's enzymes to digest fats, lipase. There's enzymes to digest carbohydrates. There's enzymes to digest proteins. These are all put into one. So all you do in the morning, when you begin this, the first day, you're going to take one enzyme on an empty stomach as soon as you wake up with a nice tall glass of water. Now, if there's nothing in your tummy, it's going to serve as a metabolic enzyme. Now, a metabolic enzyme is very, very powerful, especially when you're dealing with situations that have some type of inflammatory process to them. What happens is that this enzyme is going to go into the stomach. It's going to see that there's no food to digest. So then it's going to become like a scavenger, and it's going to hunt around the entire body for the residual of inflammation. The residual of inflammation is scar tissue. Scar tissue is what creates all the problems with inflammatory conditions. Let me give you an example of inflammatory condition would be like ankylosing spondylitis is an inflammatory condition. Systemic lupus erythematosus, or lupus, is an inflammatory condition. Rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory condition. A sprain, strain, all of those fall under the umbrella of inflammatory conditions. So when you take this enzyme in the morning, on the first day, Friday morning, you take the enzyme in the morning, and if there's nothing, no substance, no material in the stomach, it's going to convert itself into the metabolic enzyme, and the metabolic properties are going to go and eat up all the remaining scar tissue, which is phenomenal to really increase mobility, increase flexibility, and decrease pain. So this serves both digestive and metabolic purposes. You're going to take one enzyme every morning on an empty stomach, and you will take one enzyme 15 minutes before lunch, and you're going to do this for the next 30 days. You're not going to do this for a day or 2 days. You're going to do this for 30 days. So there's 60 enzymes here. You're going to take 2 a day. One in the morning on an empty stomach, and one 15 minutes before lunch. So that morning, what you're going to do is you're going to take the liver prep, which is this powder, and you're going to put it into 24 ounces of water. You're going to mix it very, very well. You're going to store it in the refrigerator. Don't worry about it. Go about your day as you normally would. Okay, so you put this liver prep, which is the powder. These three products come in this LiverPure box. The powder you're going to put into 24 ounces of water. In the morning, you're going to store it in the refrigerator. You're going to go about your day. You're going to have a very clean breakfast, and you're going to have a very clean lunch. Clean meaning you're going to avoid fast foods, you're going to avoid fatty foods, you're going to avoid fried foods, you're going to avoid all the junk foods, okay? You want to decrease on the dairy, okay? So what you want to do is you want to just eat as healthy as possible for your breakfast and for your lunch. Here's the first pearl of wisdom when taking this product. At 2 o'clock, Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, you're going to stop eating and drinking everything, including water. The reason being is you need to give your liver time to adjust and time so it can prepare itself to purge. As long as you're drinking and eating, the liver is functioning. Everything that you drink and eat has to go through the liver before it goes into the general circulation. So therefore, we want to give the liver time to purge. So at 2 o'clock, you're going to stop eating and drinking everything. Now, just a little side note. If you have things going on and you start at 3, that's okay. You have to wait 4 hours. So if you start at 2, you got to wait 4 hours. If you start at 3, you still have to wait 4 hours. So if you miss the 2 o'clock deadline, if you're running late and you're having lunch at 2, then start at 3. It's not a big deal at all, okay? So let's just say, though, that you started at 2. So you had a clean breakfast, you had a clean lunch, and at 2 o'clock, you stopped eating and drinking everything. At 6 p.m., you're going to go back to that 24 hour ounces of water mixture that you put this in, and you're going to drink 6 ounces at 6 o'clock. That's all you're going to do. 6 ounces at 6 o'clock and do nothing else. You're going to repeat that at 8 o'clock. So you've taken 6 ounces at 6 o'clock. Then you're going to take 6 ounces at 8 o'clock. Now, from my experience, when you take the 6 ounces of the liver prep at 6 o'clock, nothing happens. But from my experience, when you take the 6 ounces at 8 o'clock, there's a good percentage of people that they're going to start feeling a little rumbling in the stomach. They're going to start feeling a little peristalsis in the stomach. The stomach's going to start moving around and maybe some of the bowels are going to start to loosen just a little bit. Some people may have the desire to go to the restroom. Many aren't at this time. At 10 p.m., I repeat this, 6 o'clock, 6 ounces of liver prep. 8 o'clock, 6 ounces of the liver prep. At 10 p.m., you're going to open up the liver clean. You're going to open it up and you're going to pour all the contents of this lemon into the liver clean. Then you're going to cut half a grapefruit or half a lemon, and you're going to squeeze it into the liver clean. The purpose is to cut the viscosity and change slightly the texture of the oil. Now, someone asked me, this is too acidic. Can I just take the oil? The answer is yes, you can. Just take the contents in here. The magic is in here. The magic is not here. This just helps to digest it. It changes the flavor and it changes the viscosity, it changes the thickness. Me personally, I have to put all of this plus half a grapefruit or half a lemon, but that is up to you. And the key component, remember, you stop eating and drinking everything at 2 o'clock. Second pearl of wisdom is you want to do this with a straw because the texture is a little different. The texture is very, very interesting, and some people may not like the texture. But if you can put this if you put a straw here and you put the straw behind your taste buds, most of your taste buds are in the anterior 2/3 of your tongue. If you put it behind your taste buds, you're not going to taste anything, and you want to take it down as quickly as possible. Immediately after that, this is when the fun begins. Immediately after that, what you are going to do is you're going to lay on your right-hand side. That's where the liver and that's where the gallbladder is. You're going to lay on the right-hand side, and hopefully you're going to fall asleep that way. Now, if you're not a right-side sleeper, if you're a tummy down or on your back or left-hand side sleeper, what you want to do is you want to lay on your right-hand side for at least an hour and a half. You want to give this an opportunity to go through the small intestine, into the large intestine, into the ascending colon. At the ascending colon, it's going to connect and it's going to begin to encapsulate all the toxins from the liver, and it's also going to create a vasodilation of the common bile duct, which connects the liver to the gallbladder, and that's what's going to cause it to contract and spill those toxic stones into your intestine and out through your bowels. Now, you are never going to feel any of this. Your bowels are going to be very, very loose, and I want you to understand, and I say this jokingly, but you're going to see things you've never seen, and you may have a scent that you've never smelled. So I personally recommend people to choose a restroom far from the rest of the family. Okay, you want to be compassionate to the rest of the family, because you're going to see and you're going to smell something that's pretty interesting, and that is years and years and years of toxins that have been stored in your body that could have possibly be the difference, the disconnect between you and optimal health, between you and a more efficient digestive system, between you and a more efficient endocrine system. So here, let me go over the highlights. Highlight number 1, eat clean. Highlight number 2, at 2 o'clock, stop drinking and eating everything. Highlight number 3, at 6, you're going to take 6 ounces. At 8, you're going to take another 6 ounces. So now you have 12 ounces of the mixture in the refrigerator. At 10, you're gonna put the lemon in here along with half a lemon, half a grapefruit, squeeze it in, shake it vigorously, put a straw, take it all the way down, and the most important thing is you're going to lay on your right-hand side for at least an hour and a half and allow this to do what it's supposed to do, which is going to purge the liver, pump the liver, encapsulate the stones, vasodilate the common bile duct, pull the stones out of the gallbladder, and you're going to start having bowel movements. Normally, people have anywhere from 3 to 5, even 6 bowel movements that night, and they're pretty intense. So I'm just kind of giving you a warning here. They're pretty intense. Now, just in case you have no bowel movements, or just in case you have 1 or 2, as soon as you wake up, remember the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your enzymes. Now, you still have 12 ounces of this mixture in your refrigerator. If you've only had no bowel movements or 1 or 2 bowel movements, you're going to take 6 ounces as soon as you wake up. Then you're going to finish the 6 ounces 2 hours later, and then the bowel movements, your bowel should loosen and you should go to the restroom and purge the stones. If you've had 3, 4, or more bowel movements, you do not need to finish the other 12 ounces, because that means that your liver has purged whatever is going to purge on this first time, and we've accomplished our goal. Okay. Now on that next day, which is going to be Saturday, the second day, you're going to have a very, very light lunch, and for dinner you're going to have 1 straw pack of this True Cleanse. This is vital. Many people ask us, well, you know, we can go online and we can kind of figure out some type of body detox or an intestinal detox or even liver detox. That's not really the key component, because 1, all of these products are enzymatically based. 2, whenever you purge your liver, there's always going to be a 15 to 20 to 25% spillover into your general circulation. And that's why you need to take the True Cleanse, because the True Cleanse has natural properties that are going to go into your lymphatic system and finish the pumping action for the next 30 days, so you can get all the toxins out of your body. If you only use the liver detox, I highly do not recommend that, because you're going to bring toxins into your body, a small percentage, but still we want you to be toxic free. So therefore the nutrition products can do what they're supposed to do. That's why on the second day you're going to put a straw pack into anywhere from 12 to 24 ounces of water. You're going to sip it for like the next hour. That is going to be your dinner the second day. So the second day you're going to wake up, you're going to take your enzymes, you're going to finish the liver prep if you have to. You're going to have a light lunch, and for dinner you're going to have a straw pack with 12 to 24 ounces of water according to your taste. Now you may be thinking, well gosh, that means that from 2 in the afternoon the previous day to the evening the next day, I've only had a small lunch. I understand. And you may even feel a little hungry. The key component is the enzymes. The enzymes are what's going to get you through the system, because the enzymes, if they go in and there's nothing to metabolize, it's going to actually start to metabolize the stored fat. And that is one of the key components to this. So therefore, that is really the True2Life Liver Detox. If you do this, and for the remaining of the month, you're going to follow the calendar. Okay, because there's a couple of days every other week where you're only going to have the True2Life, the True Cleanse. Now, I know that you're going to feel a little hungry. I want you to understand one thing about hunger. Most of our hunger feelings are habitual. Nothing's going to happen to our body if we're a little hungry. Actually, we have a saying in our culture that says, hunger makes us younger. There's a lot of people, a lot of very, very fit people that take care of their bodies, that take care of their health, that once or twice a month, they will fast the 24 hours just to allow the digestive system to relax a little bit. So these couple days of fasting that you're going to do over the next 30 days, they're actually going to benefit you on a lot of different levels. They are going to benefit your health. They're going to benefit your digestive system. They're going to benefit your endocrine system. And you're going to see that you're going to start breaking certain addictions. That's going to help you after your 30 days. It's going to help you to look at food differently. It's going to help you to look at health differently. And that is the goal. Now, many people will ask us, can we not take our 90 for life while we're doing the liver detox? Absolutely not. From 2 o'clock to the next morning, you can't take anything. But the next morning, you immediately start on your 90 for life. You start on your BTT, you start on your omegas, you start on your OsteoFX. After that, you're going to take this the way you normally take this. Your selenium, your glucogel, your immortality, whatever system you're on, whatever package you're on, you're going to take it. You're not going to take it that first day from 2 o'clock until the following morning, okay guys? So I really hope that this blesses you. We have seen that this has helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people. If you do this well, you're going to see a radical change in your health. Again, my name is Dr. Luis Arriaza, and thank you so much.